Welcome to Landon's Guide to High School Math. I'm Landon, I'm your host, and today we are in the Pre-Algebra course, and we are doing proportional relationships. So, let's get started. Rates with fractions. If you want more information about rates and fractions, check out my previous videos. And I'm Landon, I'm a sophomore from the US, and I'm committed to teaching math and computer science to the world. If you want more information about my computer science tutorial, there's only one posted right now, you can check that out. But anyways, let's go. Robert climbed 775 steps in 12 in 1/2 minutes. How many steps did he average per minute? So, whenever we have a fraction where we have 775 in 12 1/2, all we have to do is divide by that number. So, we have to divide by 12.5 because 12 1/2 is the same as saying 1.5, 12.5. And now, we can, I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator here just to see how many steps he took in a minute. And it's 62. So that means he took 62 steps per minute. And if you want to check, you can do 62 times 12.5 and check that answer. But anyways, if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Extended explanations. Here's the video. And happy studying. Okay, next problem. Corey bought 2 1/2 liters of paint for $60. What was the cost per liter of paint? So, similarly, we do 60 divided by 2.5 because it can work either direction. Like, Corey has $60 and he bought 2 1/2 liters of paint. So, it's the exact same thing. So, when we divide this, we get $24. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos. It's only one video, and you can ask me for help in the comments, and happy studying. Okay. A ferry traveled 1/6 of the distance between two ports in 1.37 hours. The ferry travels at a constant rate. At this rate, what fraction of the distance can the two ports be? Can the ferry travel in 1 hour? So, we have a ferry that travels at 1/2 of the distance between two ports in 37 hours. So 1/6 the distance, right? That means that in 37 hours, 1/6 distance. So 37 hours is 1/6. So what are we gonna do? We have to convert this to hours. So we're gonna cross multiply here. That'll be 18 over 7 is equal to 7. No, wrong. So 3/6 1/2. So in 37 hours. So we're going to, what fraction can the two ports of the ferry travel in 1 hour? So we need to basically divide this by 3. So when we divide this by 3, we're going to divide this by 3 right here, which will give us 1 over 7. And then when we divide this by 3, because, well, actually when you're doing the denominator, you're multiplying. Because, remember, you can divide the numerator and multiply the denominator. If you want more information about that, you can check out my previous video. So, in 1/7, it is, in 1/7 hours, he traveled 1/18 of the distance. So now he can find hours. All we have to do is multiply this by 7 and multiply this by 7. 1 times 7 is 7, and that's over 118. So without rounding, it is 7/18 of the distance. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. And yes, you can divide the fraction. I kind of complicated that, but it's okay. This is more of a simpler way. But anyways, here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, next problem. Emmanuel was charged $32 for a 14 2/9 kilometer taxi ride. The cost per kilometer is constant. What was the cost per kilometer? Enter an exact answer. So, we want to do 32 over 12.29. Wow. So I'll put this in the calculator right now. So first, let me do 14 times 9 plus 2. Divide that by 9, and then we'll do 32 divided by... Yeah, I got 2.25, and that's perfect because we're talking money here. So, $2.25. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. And yes, literally, you can multiply, and that would take a lot more work. And then here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, good job. And it looks like let's do quizzes. We'll do sections 1 and 2. So, what we're doing today is let me get my pen here. We're doing all this material. And then we'll do the second half tomorrow. So, this will be our first, our episodes have been pretty short lately. Well, I'll make this one a little bit longer. Okay, constant proportionality from graphs. The graph below shows a proportional relationship between x and y. What is the constant of proportionality? So what this means is that when we're given we are at a constant rate here, right? So what this means is that when we're given a y value, we must divide that by an x value. Ideally, we want to be at 1x because if we put this on 1, we'll get the y value. So all we have to do is line up with 1, and then we have to just make a line through it and see where it intersects. So, like, this is known as it is a VUX, which stands for a vertical, undefined, x-intercept line. So that means that we're just going up. So we start from 1, and then we find a point where we intersect the line. In this case, that lines up to 3.5. So 3.5 over 1, well, we don't even need to do that because anything divided by 1 is x. So that means the constant of proportionality is 3.5. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. And they actually did give us the point, so we'll use that for future reference. Which lies the constant of proportionality between y and x of 1/2. So let's see here. Let's find where x is. So let's see here. We have choice A. So this is 0.5, which is, hey, what do you know? That is 1/2. So that means the answer here is C. B wouldn't work because that's 1.5, and A wouldn't work because that is way more than what we need. So the answer here is C. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, next problem, the following graph shows a proportional relationship. What is the constant of proportionality? So let's go here since they're giving us the point. So let's identify our values given this point. So if we draw a line, we have y is equal to 1, and x between here, 4 and 6, is 5. So 5. So then we do 1 over 5, and that is 1 over 5. We don't even have to convert it to a decimal. If we did, how would we do that? We take 1 over 5, and then we can put it 2 over 10, because if we just multiply each of these are the same. And then we multiply by 10 again, or maybe we can just go straight to the point. X over 100, that is 0.x, okay? We talked about that in my last video, but in this case, it's 0.2, because remember, if there's any additional zeros, you don't need them. So yes, from last video, x over 100 is 0.x. This is a fact. Very important when converting fractions to decimals. But when you have prime numbers, it gets a little more complicated. We'll talk about that later. Right now, 1/5 is our answer. If you got that right, good job. Here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, next problem. I'll let you guys do this on your own. Okay, so let's use the point that we're given. We have x is equal to 1 right here. I'm bad at drawing lines. But anyways, if we line that point up and make a line through it, we cross over 4. So that means that the constant of proportionality is 4. Okay, so if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here are the videos, and happy studying. Okay, so we're doing amazing. Let's move on. Constant proportionality from equations. What's constant proportionality in the equation y equals 1/2 x? So what we have to do here is, so give me one moment. So the constant of proportionality, when we're given this, remember we have to identify this as a linear equation, which means that y equals mx plus b is very, very important whenever we're doing problems like this. So, when we take this problem, we are going to have y equals mx. We don't need plus b because whenever it's invisible, when we use y equals mx plus 0, that is the definition of this problem right here. So y equals mx plus b. That is our answer. So m is actually going to be the constant proportionality. So all you have to do is just find where m is. In this case, it's 1/2, and that's your answer. So your answer is actually in the problem. So I guess that's good. You don't have to do a lot of work. So 1/2. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, and it does say it's kx, I prefer mx because you will use slope-intercept in Algebra 1. Here's the videos, and happy studying. So yes, that's all we're doing. Constant proportionality. So what do we want? We want y equals mx plus b, where m is equal to the equality and b is equal to 0. So it'll be 0.5x because we want it to play plugged in, or we can convert it to a fraction, which will be 1/4. So we want these equations, but we only want one of these, so we just have to find the odd one out. And aha, C does this equation right here. So it's C. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here are the videos, and happy studying. Next problem. What is the constant proportionality in the equation y equals 7x? Well, we just find 7 here, and that's your answer. Easy. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. I'll let you guys do this on your own. Good luck. Let's do this. We only want one answer. We have a 5 here, and A demonstrates that because we plug in 5 for M. So it's A. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, let's keep going. We are amazing. See, this is not too hard. Okay, constant of proportionality from tables. Ooh, we are going to deal with tables in Algebra 1. Okay, what table has a constant proportionality between y and x of 1.5? So, just ignore the between y and x. It makes it confusing. Just remember from the last lesson that we do y equals 1.5x. So, we have to plug a value in for y and then we have to plug a value in for x, not y, and then we have to get that value. So, when x is 5, 1.5 times 5, that is 7.5 right here. Because when you put it in the calculator, and hey, A does that. Should we keep going? 1.5 times 13 is 19.5, and 1.5 times 33 is, no, not 33. 1.5 times 23 is, A was really close, but this is false. So A is not the answer. Okay, choice B. So we have 1.5 times that. Okay, so I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so anyways, when we have 1.5 and multiply that by 8, we get 12. So B is not right either. And yeah, I just said 12. So C is the only answer here. 1.5 times 9 is 13.5, and 1.5 times 18 is equal to 27. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay. Which table is the constant proportionality between... Okay, so let's not confuse ourselves here. Y equals mx, where m is equal to this, so 0.9x. So we plug in 0.9 times 10 for here. Then we do 0.9 times 18. We get 16.2. A is wrong. You know what? Actually, let's just jump to conclusion. 0.9 times 12 is 10.8 here, okay. Then 6 is 5.4. And then 4 is 3.6. So yes, it is B. C is not correct because 1.9 times 3 is not 3.3. So it's B. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video. And happy studying. Okay. Which table has a constant proportionality? Okay, so now we have 12. So y equals 12x. So 1 half times 12 is 6, 2 times 12 is 24, and 12 times 10 is 120. It is A. Let's just pick it and move on. But if we check the other ones, it will not follow the pattern as given in the answer explanation. If you got the right job, if you didn't, here's the video, and happy studying. Last problem, I'll let you do it on your own. Okay, the answer is A, because 8 times 3, 4 is 6, and 9 times 24 over 4 is that, and then 10 times 3, 4 is 15 over 2. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay. Alright, one more lesson for this section. Constant proportionality from tables with equations. Okay, so y equals rx. So, they're all the same. You know what that means? Y is equal to x. So, we don't even have to do any work. R is equal to 1. 1 times 1 is just 1. And just to clarify, 1x is y equals x, because x times 1 is x. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the video, and happy studying. Okay, now we have a real problem. So, when we have values, now we're just solving for m. So, we have m times 3, and then now we're just going to literally do y over x. So, we only have to demonstrate with 1. What's 30 divided by 3? 10. Ideally, we should do the smallest one, because that will be the easiest to solve. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, 36 divided by 12 is 3. Good job. If you got that right, good job. Here's the video, and happy studying. Okay, I'll let you do it on your own. 22 divided by 2 is 11. If you got that right, good job. That was easy. But if you still need help, you are free to ask me in the comments and utilize the videos Khan Academy provides, because again, they are the GOATs. Props to you, Khan Academy. Okay, that is the end of the first section, so we'll do the quiz, and then we'll move on to the next section. Alright, good luck with the quiz, and your quiz starts now. Best of luck. The answer is 3 if you got that right, good job, and make sure to pause. The answer is 125 over... Oh, wait, hang on. That's embarrassing. Okay, the answer is 10. If you got the right... What? It says not round. It literally didn't say to round. Okay, you know what? It's fine. Oh, wait, I did not round. Okay, the answer is 125 over 12. And I hope I can put this answer down. Give me a moment. Maybe I can go the other way around. Boom, there we go. If you got that right, good job. The answer is A, if you got that right, good job. I'll give you guys a little bit more time, since we do have to do a little bit more work here. The answer is... Save this. It's A, if you got that, good job. Okay, and the answer is... 10, if you got that, good job. Oh, wait, no. 0.1, if you got that, good job. Okay, so, good job. So we did make I made a few mistakes. I take that blame. So yeah, if you got those questions correct, good job. We did awesome. And okay, let's go ahead and move on to section 2. Compare and contrast the proportionality. Ooh, we got graphs. Oh my gosh, we got whole different answers. Some of our answers have slope-intercept form. One of our answers is a graph. Two of our answers are tables. This is so crazy. But don't fear, as I am here to help you guys get rid of that imposter syndrome. Which relationships have the same constant proportionality between y and x as the following graph? So, what do? We just find.
Yeah, I'll have him get on the link. I'll have him get on the link, and he'll get on very shortly. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so anyways, we have to find the y over x. So, with this in mind, we need to line up 2, the given point, which is 2, over y, which is 6. 6 over 2 is 3. So, we have to find y equals 3x. Or, we have to find y over x equals 3. Or, we can add in all those abysses. We can do 6y is equal to 18x. And yeah, so we can just plug in values to get our y value. So, we can also do 6 is equal to 3 times 2, or, yeah, so let's try it out. Y equals 1/3 x. Well, if we have y, 1, well, you know what, actually, yeah, that'll work. No, it won't. So, we have 1x is not equal to 3. So, it's not B. It's not A, because if we divide 6, that would be y equals 1/3, so that's just not it either. Try C. Well, let's see, we have 3 over 1, which is 3. C works. 3 times x here is 9. 3 times 6 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27, so D will work as well. It won't be E because, let's see here. Wait, choose 2 answers. 3 times x, 7 times 21. Let's see here. What? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, C's wrong. Because that would be the case if it was even bigger. Like, it would be 6, y equals 6x for C. So, D and E would work. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanations. Here are the videos. There are plenty of them, so that's awesome. Thank you, Khan Academy, and happy studying. That was not sarcastic, by the way. Okay, select the employees who earns the most per hour. So we have a sentence, we have a graph, and we have a table. So let's try it out. Let's try to find where we can get the same number for every single one. Aries calculates the total amount E in dollars. E equals 8.75H. So, 8.75. What does that mean? Aha. So, we have H hours times 8.75, which means that every hour, it's 8.75 an hour. So, this first one is 8.75 per hour. So, that's good to know. Let's see here. Choice B, 48 to 4. That would be 48 divided by 4 is 12 an hour. So that's that. And then in 3 hours, we do 28.5. We divide that by 3. 28.5, divide that by 3. 28.5 divided by 3 is 9.5 an hour. So, in short, this A is last, C is second to last, B will make us the most money. The answer is B. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here are the videos. Again, there are plenty of them. Happy studying. Okay. Ooh. Which of the following has the same constant of proportionality? Okay, so we have y over x, so we have this point where it's 6y. 6 is y, so 6 over x, which is 8, so 6, 8, and then 3, 4. So y equals 3, 4x. So we know that the x value must be lower than the y. So let's try it out. 6y is equal to 8x. Well, nah, that won't work. Because if we multiply 3 by 6, it would be 18, and 18 divided by 4 is not equal to 8, so it's wrong. B, that's exactly what we wrote. This is correct. This wouldn't be right because if that was the case, 8x and 4 would not work, even with the given values. So C is not right either. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9 over 4. D wouldn't work either. What is E? 4 times 3 is 3. 12 times 3 is 9. Hey, what do you know? Looks like E works here. So E is correct. B is correct. So that's our answers. B and E. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here are the videos. There are plenty of them. And happy studying. Okay, next, select a brand with the least expensive corn per ounce. Okay, we want the least expensive. I'll let you guys do this on your own. Good luck. Okay, so let's check this out. So we want corn per ounce. So 36 divided by 3 is 18. So that means for $1, you get 12 per dollar. So 12 per dollar. I'll write that right there. Then we have 0.75 for 15 ounces. So we want per dollar. Okay, let's divide this by 3. 15 divided by 3, so 5. So that means you get 20 per dollar. Maya buys an 11 ounce for $2. So that's 5. 5 per dollar. So that means that C is the right answer. So it's C. If you got that right, good job. What? Hello? $20 per ounce is... Wait. So for $2, it's 11... Okay, so... 2.2 divided by 2.2. So 11 divided by 2.2 is 5. So 5 per dollar. The least expensive. What? Okay, so it's 2... Okay, whatever. If you got that right, good job. You did better than me. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. No worries, we'll do the bonus question just for a little more practice. Here we go. Here's something we've been doing. Go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll do it together. Alright, we are given a table, so we can actually just plug this value in. 3y is equal to 14x. I'll simplify that as y equals 8x. Let's see. X times 4. Okay, 8 times 4 is 32. Yep, that checks out. 8 times 7 is 56. That checks out. And 8 times 8 is 64. So that checks out. A is one of 3 answers. Let's find some more. We have 5, 3. So that means that 3 over 5 x is y equals 3 over 5x. So let's see here. So 3 over 5 x, in this case that's 4, is 2.4, which would not work, so it's not B. This is probably the other way around, so it's not B. Okay, so we have y equals 8x, so yeah, you know what? Because C, we have 1 and then 8, and 8 divided by 1 is 1, so yeah, C will work. So we have A and C so far. Let's see here, we got, we have 216, 324, 648, and what do you know? If we multiply all those x's by 8, we will get those values. The answers here are A, C, and D. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here are the videos. Happy studying. Okay, we are doing amazing. Okay, moving on. Let's keep going. Okay, when we can calculate the depth D of snow in centimeters that accumulates in Harper's yard during the first H hours of a snowstorm using the equation D equals 5H. How many hours does it take for 1 centimeter of snow to accumulate in Harper's yard? So, we got, okay, so we want D centimeters. So, how many hours for 1 centimeter? Well, if we divide 5, we get 1/5 hours, or 0.2. And then how many snow per hour? Well, if we calculate hours, we want 1. We want 1 hour. So that means we have 5 times 1 hour is 5. So that means we have 5 centimeters. Five. So, yep. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, next problem. Okay. The partial receipt below showed the money in dollars Ryan spent at an online clothing retailer. What does $8 mean in this situation? So now we're talking literal here. Let's see here. We have to find what aligns. So $8. If we draw 2 lines that across vertically and horizontally, we find the main ones, which are over here, the outside. We have price, we have V-neck. They both intersect 8 when we draw a straight line horizontally and vertically in a perfect hoi and vux. So it looks like it's the price of a V-neck is $8. So, the price of each V-neck Ryan bought was $8. Yeah, because this is the total, right? So we can eliminate C, and then we don't want 8.00 V-necks. That makes no sense. B is our answer here. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Hey, that didn't even require math. That's good. We can calculate E, the value of euros that has the same value of D US dollars using the equation. E equals 17 over 20D. How many euros has the same value as 1 US dollar? So we can plug we can plug 1 US dollar as 1720 times 1 is equal to E. So E is that euros. So we have 17 over 20 euros. How many US dollars has the same value as 1 euro? So now we do 1 is equal to 17 over 20 D. When we're dividing by fractions, we take the reciprocal. In this case, it's 20 over 17 because here's how I did that. And I kind of did it fast, so I'm sorry if you got confused a little bit. But what I did here, so what I did is okay, so, okay, I'm sorry. So, I can explain. So, when I did 1 over 17, I divided by 17 over 20. So I did 1 divided by 17 over 20. And then whenever you're dividing fractions, you can check out my previous video for that, you multiply the reciprocal, which is 120 over 17. Multiply anything by 1? 1. Well, no, if you multiply anything by 1, it's itself. So I got that, and then boom, game over. That's your answer. That's all you have to do. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, let you guys do this on your own, and then we'll do it together. Okay, 120. Well, it's right here. Let's see here. Lettuce, 3 kg, $1.20 per kilogram. I think this means that each kilogram of lettuce is 120 kilograms. So I'm going to say that. Let's see here. 120. Choice A. The customer bought 1.2 kilograms of lettuce. Well, that's not true. They bought 3, as said in their receipt. So it's not A. Choice B. The customer can buy $1.20 kilograms of lettuce for $1. Well, that wouldn't work either. There's nowhere it says it's dollars, so it's not B. Choice C. The Good Groceries charges $1.20 per kilogram. What do you know? We got 120 divided by kilograms, which literally means per. So I think it's C. C is the right answer. If you got that right, good job. Here's the answer explanation. Here are the videos. You can ask me help in the comments. Happy studying. Okay, we only have one more topic to learn, and then we're good for this video. Okay. Interpret constant of proportionality in graphs. The 3 grams represent the price of dollars of 3 different brands of chocolate bars. Which brand of chocolate bar is the most expensive? So, all we're doing here, whichever one of these has the biggest, state of proportionality is the greatest. So, let's just find where each of them intersect in a constant factor. So, we have 840, which means 40 over 8. The slope for x is 5. And if you want more information about slope, you can check out my previous video. Let's see here. We don't really have... Oh, wait, we do. So we have 30 over 5, because x is 5 and y is 30, is 6, because 30 divided by 5 is 6. So far y is over x. Try z. Well, let's see. Okay, so we have 25 over 5, which is 4. Y is the most expensive. So it's y. If you... What? Okay, so... Oh, for 5? Yeah, I should have tried that instead. So, whichever one of these has the greatest line, the slope, that's going to be the answer. If you got that right, good job. You did better than me. We'll do a bonus problem at the end. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, next. The graph shows the relationship between the length of time Ted spends knitting and the time of scarves he knits. What does 16 mean? I think this means that for one scarf, it is 16 hours. How I got that is that we have an XY here. X is always at the bottom, Y is always at the top. So X and Y. And Y, in this case, is the hours, and X, in this case, is the scarves. So for one scarf, it's 16 hours. So 16 hours per scarf. So, choice A, 16 scarves. Nope, that would be the exact opposite, 16-1. Choice B, knits 16 centimeters of scarf for an hour. Well, no, we don't have 16 for an X value. It takes Ted 16 hours to knit a scarf. Yeah, perfect. That is 16 hours, that's our Y, and then to knit a scarf is 1, so it's C. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the answer explanation. Here's the videos, and happy studying. Okay, Clark has a budget of $12 to spend to buy nuts for a party. 3 lines represent the cost of buying bags for 3 cartons of walnuts, pecans, or peanuts of varying weights. Which kind of nut can Clark buy the most of with his $12 budget? Okay, let's see what we have here. We have a budget of $12, buy nuts for a party. Okay, so with a $12 budget, we want to find which kind of nut can he buy the most. So... let's see here. It looks like the cost is skyrocket higher. We want which of most he can buy with $12. Whenever they all hit 12 here, let's just imagine this as 12. Whichever one is most to the right will be the answer. So if we go to the right the most, it looks like peanuts is the answer, because we're going more to the right. So it's C. If you got that right, good job. If you didn't, here's the videos, and happy studying. So yeah, whichever one is going most to the right and up at the same time at a linear rate will be your answer. So let me explain this on this last problem. Well, second to last. Which shape is filling the most quickly? So we want quality over quantity. Which that means is that this A is prioritizing the amount of gallons in for the Y's, but it's not prioritizing the amount of minutes. For B, it is prioritizing both minutes and water, which means that quality is better than quantity. And then C, it's more minutes per gallons. So whichever one is filling the most quickly, less minutes and more gallons mean that will work. So in this case, A is the answer, because take a look at this. We have, for 1 minute, it's about 3.5 gallons. That's a lot. And then for the other ones, for every minute in B, a gallon is filled. And then for C, for 7 minutes, only 2 is filled. So A is our answer here. So you just have to kind of identify which variable we're talking about and what's going to be our priority. But if you want more information about that, here's the videos, and happy studying. And you can ask me for help in the comments. Okay, last problem. I'll let you guys do it on your own, and then we'll do it together. Which is the slowest? So we want less time and more kilometers, because if we have less time, more kilometers, that means more distance. So let's find where they all meet, 4 hours, and there you go. That's our answer, N, because it's the highest. So cyclist N. If you got that right... Oh, slowest. I didn't read that. It's O. If you got that right, good job. And ignore the 3 out of 4. I read that wrong. Okay, so now let's do quiz 2, and then this will be it for this video. So, without further ado, your quiz starts now. Good luck. Let you guys have a little bit of time at this one, or you just pause it, that's all. Everything will be good. Okay, the answer is 0.8 and 1.25. If you got that right, good job. Okay, the answer is C. If you got that right, good job. The answer is 1/3 and 3. If you got that right, good job. The answer is B. If you got that right, good job. And the answer is A. If you got that right, good job. Okay, and that is it for this episode. Good job, everyone. You all did amazing. You're improving your algebra skills by the minute. Pre-algebra skills, I should say. Okay, without further ado, I am Landon Pitts. I was your tutor and or mentor today, and I will see you all in the next time, in the next video. Goodbye.